Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 243. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be sharing the number one Facebook ad tip that you need to know about right now, plus answering some of your questions about Facebook and Instagram ads. Hope you guys are doing really well. I cannot wait to share this content with you, and we're going to jump right into it and just keep this episode short, sweet, and full of value like always, because I really, truly care and I want you guys to succeed. So let's start with the number one Facebook ad tip. Now, there's so many different things I could say right now that are important. And so there's not just like one tip and that's all you need. However, there's something that's timely. I see what people are talking about. I have people ask me questions all the time, which I'm going to answer some of those in today's episode, by the way. And one thing that I'm seeing quite a lot of is a lot of fear just in general about business and marketing and ads because of inflation and costs going up and different things like that. And a lot of people are reacting in the wrong way to this type of situation. In tough times, you really should be advertising even more, not less. And secondly, you really should be getting better at advertising so you can get more for your money. There's times when you can even spend less, but because you get better at ads, you are getting more for your money because you're much more highly skilled at it. So right now, one of my main messages to you, besides the tactical stuff and the questions that I'm going to answer in today's episode, is that we are in a great opportunity. It is very inexpensive to be able to reach your ideal audience right now. And don't let the news or inflation or any negativity, including negative entrepreneurs, don't let anybody like that throw you off. The best way to reach people is to get in front of them where they spend their time. And that's places like Facebook and Instagram and other platforms, obviously. So make sure you take advantage of that. There's so many people that when they have any kind of challenge or there's some kind of fear, they just stop like a deer in the headlights. That is not going to help you. You know what's going to help you? Getting really good at running ads, doing it the right way, not looking for get rich quick crap, testing properly, and doing that on a consistent basis. That will help you in great times. That'll help you in tough times. It'll help your business in so many different ways. So that's my number one tip for you guys right now, to focus on your mindset and make sure you guys are taking the right actions. It's very important. Now I'm going to choose 5 questions that people have sent me recently. And if you guys ever have questions you want to send me for this episode, for this type of episode that I do on a semi-regular basis, a Q&A type of episode, anytime you want to send me questions, or obviously if you're looking for some one-on-one coaching, or if you actually want ads run for you so you can do what you do best, and you want a professional to run your ads, for any of those things, you can reach me by going to philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. If it's potentially working together, we'll connect on a Zoom call. If you have questions or topics you want me to cover on an episode, just let me know, and I will definitely be covering those in the future. So let's jump right in, my friends, and talk about the 5 most common questions I have recently gotten. And question number 1 is from Lindsay. And her question is, hey, Phil, love the show. I've got a question. Should I just be advertising on Facebook or other places? Where's the best place to advertise right now? That is a great question. For most of you listening to this, Facebook and Instagram is going to be the best place for you to advertise. And certainly it's going to be the best place for most of you to have the bulk of your advertising money. What a lot of you should be doing is actually diversifying within Facebook and Instagram with different placements and different ad types and creatives and objectives and things like that. Be doing story ads and reels and so many other things so that you're touching people at all these different places within Facebook and Instagram. So for me, definitely primary would be Facebook and Instagram. However, we work with lots of different clients, and we do help clients advertise on other platforms like TikTok and Twitter and LinkedIn and Hulu and so many other places. So there's lots of options. And then another common platform is Google and YouTube. So beyond Facebook and Instagram, typically when we have clients with a large enough budget, then our next ad placement is typically going to be Google and YouTube. I really like those platforms. And then depending on the brand and the audience, it could also be some TikTok, could also be Pinterest, etc. But even in those situations, the bulk of our ad budgets are usually on Facebook and Instagram. I do have a few clients where it's a little bit different. We're spending a lot of money elsewhere. But for most people, I would focus on Facebook and Instagram. It's the best bang for your buck, and you can do so much there. Okay, question number 2 is from Mike. He asks, how much should I spend on my ads? What should my budget be? This is another tough one because what your budget should be is so variable. There's so many variables and factors in how I answer this question. What's your timeline? How long does it take you to get a sale? How much is your product or service that you're selling? Do you have some runway? Can you afford to run some ads for a couple months and build up awareness and turn that awareness into sales? Or do you need sales right away? All these questions really have to be answered in order for us to be able to really say, hey, you should spend this or you should spend that. There's a lot of people that will just say, spend X number of dollars a day. That's literally like a doctor prescribing something when they don't even know what's wrong with the patient. Like, that's insane. So don't listen to that kind of stuff. Here's what I would say though, without knowing you or your exact situation, if you're not sure what you should be spending on ads, one thing that I like to say is this: you want to spend enough to where it doesn't take forever to get data, so you can make better decisions based off of data. However, you also don't want to actually spend so much that it keeps you up at night to where it's really uncomfortable. You feel like you need a return tomorrow and it makes you stressed out. You don't want that either. Now, sometimes spending any kind of money on ads might make somebody feel like that. And if that's the case, you have to work on the mindset part. If you don't have that kind of an issue and it's just a certain amount, it makes you uncomfortable, then I probably wouldn't go that high. You want to find a medium in there where it's not too low, but not too high. You can sleep at night, but you're still able to test effectively. And usually when I do like ad set budgets, I typically don't like to go below $10 a day per ad set. Every once in a while, I might do that for certain reasons, but most of my ad sets are going to be at least $10 a day, if not more, and sometimes much more. So keep that in mind. If you'll have, let's just say $20 a day, then I would go 2 ad sets at $10 a day each to start. If you're not sure what you should spend, then really think about what you're comfortable with and pick a number that doesn't keep you up at night, but still allows you to test properly. And obviously I can help you one-on-one if that's something to where you feel like you really need my input for your specific situation. Obviously we can work together with those types of things. Okay, number 3 is from Hank. He asks, hey, Phil, how should I track results in regards to Facebook ads and all the iOS stuff from last year? Now, this is a question that I get a ton, and there's a lot of people that just don't know what to do and they're frustrated and they just kind of throw their hands up in the air and sometimes almost even give up, which I never want to happen. So in terms of tracking ads and tracking results, data is very important. What I do these days is I don't rely on data from just one source. Back in the day, you used to be able to just kind of take what Ads Manager told you, and you could just kind of pretty much count on that data as being 100% accurate. Well, now it's not 100% accurate because there's a lot of privacy issues with iOS and different things like that. So what I do these days is I take data from different sources and I aggregate it into one place, and then I analyze the combined data, and I can see trends. I can see what's working, what's not working, and that helps me a lot. So my biggest tip on that is to look at data from various sources. So you've got obviously your Ads Manager data. You also should be looking at Google Analytics data. And then also I would recommend heat map, having a heat map program like Hotjar. You can even use the free version and it's great. And then if you're like an e-commerce shop, you're also going to have Shopify data, or if you're not, or even if you are, you could have WordPress data as well with a plugin if you have a WordPress site. So I would be looking at all of those things, bringing those into a Google Sheet that you can custom make. And then you're able to actually, evaluate what's going on much better and much more effectively than just about anybody else. And obviously there's some skill and there's a little nuances that are involved with all that, but in a nutshell, that's basically how we go about tracking results, and it works really well for us. Okay, question number 4 is from Charlotte. She asks, hey, Phil, why aren't my ads working? What do I do? Okay, that's a great question, Charlotte. I get this one a lot. A lot of people come to me because their ads are not working, and I totally get it. So here's the thing. I would obviously, to know your exact reason, I would have to look at your account and see what's going on. But I'm going to try and answer this in a more general way for everybody listening to this. And my answer would be this: you need to know why they're not working. So you asking why they're not working tells me, or if you're listening to this, anybody listening to this, if you're running ads either now or in the past and they didn't work and you don't know why they didn't work, that's really the biggest problem of all. The fact that they didn't work is not the biggest problem. You not knowing why they didn't work is the biggest problem. That has to be solved, because there's always a reason why they didn't work. And it could be more than one reason, of course, but there's always something, and you can always figure that out. So you need to know, was it the audience that was wrong? Was the creative not good enough? Did you use the wrong ad objective? Was it, the timing? Maybe you didn't let it run long enough. Was it the landing page or sales page? Did that not convert? Did you have bad branding? Like, there's all these different things it could be. And so what I do to determine why an ad isn't working or didn't work is I look at that data and I evaluate, and I can figure out, was it one of those things? Was it multiple of a few of those things? And sometimes when an ad is not working, you have to run a couple other split tests to really figure it out if you're not sure. Other times it's way more clear. Like if you're running an ad and you have a really bad click-through rate, let's say it's like 0.5%, that's pretty bad. Well, in that kind of situation, it's either most likely the audience or the creative. Most likely. It could be the objective too, but usually it's either the audience or the creative. So there's a quick way to test that. You can do a split test and figure out exactly which one or both was the issue. Let's say your click-through rate's really good, but you're not getting sales. Well, if that's the case, then it might be your landing page, it might be your sales page. So you want to start thinking about it in those terms. Don't ever run an ad without you knowing why it didn't work or why it did work. And if you don't know why something didn't or did work, then you need to learn, and you need more training and skill in that so that you can figure that out. Because once you figure that out, when it's not working, you can always identify why, and then you can change it, and you can keep testing until you find something that works, and then you can scale that to the moon, which is awesome. So let me know if you guys have any questions about that. I know there was a lot there, but that's really a huge part of why people are successful when it comes to ads, if they can get that part down, and most people don't, but they should. Okay, and last but not least, number 5 is from Camilla, and she asks, what ad objective do you use the most right now? And that's a really good question. I get that one a lot. I use lots of objectives, and I would have to say, like, if you had a gun to my head and I had to pick one, if I had to, I would say conversions. However, there's a lot that we're using. Like sometimes for some clients, we're using Messenger way more often. And for other clients, we might be using engagement or traffic, depending on the goal of the actual ad. So it's not always conversions. And we definitely like using a number of different objectives. But if I had to pick one, I would definitely say conversions if I could only pick one. My main message to you guys on that, though, is make sure you're testing lots of different objectives. I've had ads go from not working to working really well just by changing the objective and nothing else. So you want to make sure you test different things. Don't get into the mindset of just running one objective, even if it's working. Test other ones, because you might find something that works even better. And if you're using one and it's not working, test a different one, because you might find something that crushes it. So I hope that was helpful, you guys. Short, sweet, and hopefully full of value for you guys. Episode 243 is in the books. I've got a lot of fun stuff coming up for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you have a great rest of the week. If you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com or at philgrahamdigital on Instagram, feel free to DM me. I will talk to you guys next time. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.